In this video, we are going to see how to have multiple materials for a single object and change between them based on tab. Let's go into the video. So let's see how to change the material based on the tab. So here there is only one object is there, that is the face mesh. So we are going to change the materials for the face mesh based on the tab. So here we are going to do with four materials. So I'll just change the material count to 2. So the total material is the total number of materials we are going to use on our projects. That's like for now I'll just demonstrate with 2 to 4. So between the two material switches, if I just increase the number of material count, the materials will change accordingly. So for whenever you want to like name any material, the enter the name of the materials first thing over here, and then add 1 to how much ever number you want. If you want to add 10 materials, then material 1 or m1 something like that, and like till 10, from 1 to 10 you can just add and add the prefix to the this value, that is the material name. So add the objects you want to change on the material to the object name value. So if you are doing this perfectly, whenever you tap you can see the material is changing. So I'll just increase the number of material over here. The material count is 6 actually. I'll just change the color of this. Just put this color or something. So now I'll just restart. Now if I like change, you can see the material changing. So based on this and this values, you can change the material. So let's see the coding part over here. So this is where all the things are done. So basically what we are doing is we are getting that a total number of material, that is the total material, as it's like a scalar value, that is number, we are getting it as a scalar value through patch, and we are getting the object's name from the as it's a string, we are using this, and the material name is also a string, so we'll be using a get string value. So this part is basically to get the values from the patch to the code. So here is where all the stuff happens. So basically the touch.onTap function is where which invokes the touch gestures. Basically the touch gestures is the module which has the on tap events. So these are the events which we will be seeing on the patch mostly. Like, so the tap is basically the, so these are the touch gestures which we have. So if you want to have the touch gestures, like if you want to have normal screen tap, you can just leave it this empty and you can just continue with it. So the subscribe function is which whenever you are like clicking on a button, it triggers this set of code. So whatever you are like putting inside this will happen whenever you tap on the screen. So here what we are going to do is we are just the I is just a variable which is going to change the materials for us. So I'm just keeping it as 1 because we are starting the material from 1 to the number you are starting. So here what we are doing is we are just incrementing the material. Each time you tap, the count of the material increases. That's if the first time you tap, it will be 1. The second time will be 2. The third time will be 3. And here is where we are checking whether the count is above the number which we are given. So example, consider if we are giving a number of 10. Totally we have 10 number of materials. But what happens if the count becomes 11? So it will show an error. To avoid that, what we are doing is if it is like equal to the 1 above the number of the total material we have, we are just making that I value 1. So it will just reset again. So here what we are doing is we are basically concatenating the material name and the string value, the number of the I value. So if the I is 1, what will happen is material, consider the material name as material and I is 5. So what will happen? The mat will have the value of material 1 or material 5. So we are just joining this, and here is where we are just applying the material to the object. So the scene.root.find is basically to find out the particular object which we are using. So that value will be passed to over to here. So we are going to the material property of that value, and we are just getting the materials we want and replacing it with this. So this is the main component of this entire thing. So in order for the people to easily use this, I just made the file into like based on patch. So you can just change the number of values over here and like restart it, and you can just change the material. If you want, you can just, the only thing you have to do is you have to enter the name of this object you want to change, and you have to enter the total number of material you are going to use for the same one object. And here the number, you have to name the materials like a same name, all should have the similar name, and the last it should have like 1 2 3, similar to the png sequence which you will be using.